Why are we here? What terrible things did we do to deserve such hell? All we know is we'll have to work together, or we'll die together.
Gtfo was originally created as a game for and by hardcore players. This basically meant the average player would never actually be able to get into it. Despite the developer's original vision of creating a game like this, it clearly backfired slightly due to a severe lack of people actually wanting to sit down and play a survival horror stealth-based mission that had you wasting 5 to 6 hours of your time, only to wipe and have to start over from the very beginning. As a result, they eventually added in checkpoints for specific rundowns while leaving in the non-checkpoint missions for certain rundowns to provide a choice for more experienced players, and of course for those looking for more challenging missions once they have adapted to the game itself. It doesn't change the reality that this is a game that you will need to devote a significant amount of your time to really get into it, rather than treating it like a quick little game to pass the time. The game's story has been provided in an episodic format centered on each rundown and the alternative rundowns. To give you a basic understanding of the story, you play as 4 inmates who have been held captive within an alien compound that has been abandoned for years due to its takeover by sleepers, which are just interdimensional creatures that have crossed multiple dimensions. Each character is held in a cryostasis on the verge of death, forced to continuously complete more and more suicide missions that no one could ever hope to survive. But they managed to do so with the assistance of a previous prisoner called Schaefer. But there is also this alternative world where he is essentially evil and one where he's more sane. So because of this alternative reality, you're going to be playing as your alternative selves at times, executing alternative objectives and making dimensional hops to do things for Schaefer. The more rundowns that you complete, the more of the story is going to be revealed through each of the terminal's logs through each of the dimensions. It's incredibly interesting because it all ends with rundown 8, as all dimensions collapse in on one another. And because there is once again 2 primary inmate groups, one from their original timeline and another through the alternative timeline, it's just so interesting when they conceal their identity from you to obtain the desired outcome. It's got so much of an intriguing story if you can actually piece it all together. And if you don't want to do that yourself, I would highly recommend checking out Professor Scalar's channel since he covers a lot of the things with enthusiasm. Gtfo nails that atmospheric horror of slowly making your way through a complex and complete darkness, scavenging for materials to help your team survive the next sections of scouts, chargers, snatchers, giants, daddies, nightmares, shadows, and more. All of which are very sensitive to light and of course noise when they are pulsating, so you do try your hardest to sneak around taking out the scouts first, silently, otherwise they will scream, alerting the entire room and all adjacent open rooms.
You're fucking kidding me.
This leaves you to survive a spawned horde you can barely see half of the time due to all of the fog, if you do not have a bio-tracker and a plan in place right away. It's incredibly easy to lose a run just due to one player's lack of coordination, due to being AFK or just not doing their dedicated role.
Ooh, that's a scout. Alex, where are you? Alex, where were you?
You missed.
Shot a little high there, Alex.
You can choose from a wide range of variations, strategies, and challenges such as overloads and secondaries. Even friendly fire is enabled, but even though you have guns, the vast majority of the game expects you to play very slowly and very quietly. But if you know any friends who play this game as tryhards, you'll know that they prefer to speedrun through all of the levels with hammer spam, even if they are accompanied by new players, or they'd rather pull an entire room just to get a lot of the tedious clusters cleared faster. Only really taking it slow on rundowns 4 and 5, or where there's a lot of nightmare scouts or multiple scouts surrounded by giants. I'd have to say that the one big thing that I hated about the gameplay was the shadow enemies, which can only be spotted by flashing your light on them or seeing their shadow cast by surrounding lights, only getting more difficult with very deep fog and very bright spotlights, making it more and more difficult to play because you just can't see anything unless you have the specific rifles equipped. In my opinion, this makes it so much more difficult for the ordinary player to become acquainted with the features of Gtfo, such as entering the terminals for commands and using the UI as reference points for what you should be doing next. Because if you want to play this game, you're going to be in for a long, exhausting day with friends as new players, like you just got off of work working 9 to 5, only to play from 5 to 9 and get absolutely no sleep in whatsoever. Either that or you'll be carried through the entire experience by those who are willing to teach you the very bare minimum, telling you exactly what to do, where to funnel, and how to cancel out layers and overload alarms. It's a fantastic game to play, but I would not recommend playing it solo with the AI because it is not going to do anything to help you. If you have the appropriate players to play with, you'll most likely be fine, otherwise you're better off just joining the Gtfo Discord where thousands of players play every single day and are always seeking to play with others and also to sometimes teach them.
Yeah, no, we don't have a fourth. Also, connection is doo-doo. Alright, that's it. I call it. I have to. There's too much stacked against us.
Gtfo is a very grueling experience. I'm not trying to discourage anybody from trying it out, but unless you're willing to commit 4 to 6 hours every time you start a mission with new players, then it will only burn you out. So if you do decide to play it, remember to seek the Gtfo community for assistance as you need it, because you are definitely going to need that help. I really only occasionally play this game with the limited group that I met on the Gtfo Discord, which includes Lurker, Ori, and many other well-known, highly regarded community members who play it faithfully every day, like Professor Scalar and even Dark Eva, logging in multiple thousands of hours in speedruns and also modded challenges. While I can't say that I've devoted that many hours to the game myself, I definitely understand how playing with other eager players may improve the experience. Though as a solitary gamer, I find it incredibly complicated and difficult to retain a lot of the knowledge over time because I just don't play it regularly enough to have a chance of learning much more than the basic methods and strategies on select rundowns that aren't too bad to play on. So if you're interested in this game, I always have a couple, or at least in this case, I have 15 copies on hand to give away, which I do on a regular basis every month throughout our Discord community. If you can't afford games and you're looking for new games to have a chance at winning, why not come on over? Not many people join them, so there's always a good chance that you'll win.